Hello YouTube and valued viewers, Byron at Splitting Slices. Welcome back to the Knife and EDC channel. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, and that means it's time to go ahead and do my third part in a 10-part series called 10 by 10 Knives. Now this is an open tag started by Knife Chats with the Bias, where you are to show 10 knives, 10 straight days, and talk about them for 10 minutes. So let's get into it. Now the knife on the table today is quickly becoming one of my all-time favorite pocket carries. Doesn't matter where you're talking modern knife, slip joint, it's just one of my favorites. Why? One, the quality of feel in the hand, and two, the ergonomics and the size. Just a spectacular slip joint knife. This is the Jack Wolf Knives Timber Jack. Now, earlier in 2026, this knife was released in 7 different configurations. 3 of them were dealer exclusives. 2 of them were released in what he calls the steel series. That's where you take a medium range steel and pair it with a premium handle material and help reduce the price point of the knife. And then 2 of them were released under the Ultralight series. Now that's where he thins out the blade stock some, pairs it with a light density handle material, say FRN or a light G10, and so be it. There are 7 configurations floating out there in Knifeland right now. And I checked at the time of filming 5 different major knife dealers: Traditional Pocket Knives, Knife Center, White Mountain Knives, Blade HQ, and Atlantic Knife Company, and there were at least 1, if not more, configurations available. So, if you are interested in this knife, I would not hesitate. They've been out for a few months now, but as soon as somebody actually gets a hold of this and gets it in hand, I think they're going to be swallowed up. Now, what may be holding some people back is the size, and that's understandable. It has a fairly heavy pull. I'm going to say somewhere between a 6 and a 7 on the blade. That is the level of force to open the knife and close the knife. But the size and the feel in hand based on this bow trapper pattern design just makes it spectacular. Let's go ahead and open it up. Nice walk and talk action, beautiful bellied, I'll call it a spear point blade or a drop point blade with a nice fuller nail nick that is basically located along the center of the blade spine. Allows you to open that up, but it also has enough meat that you can pinch open it and get it open in a reasonable period of time with a reasonable effort. Let's go over some of the specs on this particular knife, which is the 154 cm blade steel and the fire canvas red micarta. Now the overall length of this knife when open is right about 7 3/4 inches. It has a blade length of 3.4 inches long of 154 cm steel, satin finish. It has a closed length of 4 1/4 inches. It has a cutting edge of around 3.1 inches. All right, the thickness of the scales of the knife is a little over a 1/2 inch at 0.55 inches. It's made from 0.150 inches blade stock, and the weight on these vary depending on your materials, but they range anywhere from about 4.3 ounces to 5.3 ounces. Again, the Ultralight series was designed to be lighter in the pocket. Now this 154 cm has been heat treated to an HRC of around 58 to 59. And of course the knife is made in China for Jack Wolf Knives. Now this knife was designed by Tracy LaRock, who is a custom and mid-tech slip joint and fixed blade knife manufacturer and knife maker. His current custom designs run somewhere around $400 to $450 if you can find them in the market. Now, Arizona Custom Knives has had them sold before, and I also believe Blade Capone currently has a couple of his knives. They are a slip joint made, I think, in W2 steel and a couple fixed blades in W2 steel, but they are hard to find anymore. And he is a reputable knife maker, and his knives are sought after. That's why there aren't a whole lot on the secondary market. So I think it was a great design pair-up between Jack Wolf Knives and Tracy LaRock, and I think they created a beautiful knife. Now, what else can I tell you about it? We have a modern screw construction. So we have 2 torque screws that hold on the knife scales. Again, fire canvas red micarta. We'll turn that up. Now, of course, this is built on an integral frame bolster design. So these covers are onlaid onto the frame and screwed in place. There is no stop pin on this knife, as some modern slip joints have. It's all done with the tolerances at the bottom of the knife and on the tang with the kicks. All right. You have a beautiful hollow ground blade that comes to an extremely thin behind the edge and a beautifully sharp blade. Nice and sharp on this one. All right, again, that blade is satin finished and is about 3.4 inches long with about a 3.1 cutting edge if you just do a straight line measure. Of course, you're probably talking more of about 4 inches if you would actually measure the actual edge length along its curves. Nice thumb ramp to put your hand on when you're trying to hold the knife, although there is no jimping on the back of the spine. All right. Slight round off on the corners of the knife, but I would not call it a crowned knife spine. So you still have a little bit of edge up there. All right. Again, nice walk and talk. And you hear that? And again, you can easily pull that blade open as far as using a pinch grip. You do not need to use your nails. And I'll be honest, it's got a strong enough pull. Again, we're talking probably right around a 6.5 to 7 pull that you probably need to be careful of your nails. If you have issues with nails breaking, this knife could do it. But again, you've got enough spine that you can actually grab that blade and pull it out. All right. Beautiful bow trapper pattern design that the handle is based on. So it curves to your natural curves of your palm, and I can get a full 4-finger grip on it with a little to spare, actually. Thumb goes right down on that ramp, and it just makes it extremely comfortable in the hand to use. And because of that pull strength on that spring, I think you could even do some push cuts if you're careful, because that spring is very tough to close on its own. But of course, most slip joints are used either chop cuts or pull cuts, draw cuts with the blade design. All right. Again, this weighs right around 5.2 ounces, but they get as light as about 4.2 ounces with the Ultralight series. But just a really nice knife and a beautiful slip joint design. Now, you can, I believe, still get these on Jack Wolf Knives. You will have to check their stock. Their site is set up to where it's not easy to check in-stock configurations. So, but like I said, there are still many major dealers that have a few of these left. I suggest you take a look at it. Your prices are going to range anywhere from about $160 up to $190, depending on the version that you're looking for. And there are some additional slips that have been made both by some of the dealers as secondary offerings and the Jack Wolf Knives slip that was designed and released with the knife. All right, well, that's going to do it for me. Just a spectacular knife design, one that is extremely comfortable in hand and a nice heavy-duty spring and blade size to do just about any cutting you need to do. The Timber Jack by Jack Wolf Knives. That's going to do it for me. Byron at Splitting Slices saying, please split a slice with a friend soon. And until my next video, everybody, please take care.